Imagine being deep in the Siberian wilderness, surrounded by close friends, when suddenly they all begin to scream, convulse, bleed from the eyes, and die one by one. You're the only one left. You run, you hide, and for the rest of your life you'll never know what really happened. This isn't fiction. It happened in 1993, and it's known today as the Khamar-Daban incident. A tragic and baffling event eerily similar to the Dyatlov Pass mystery, yet somehow even more terrifying, because this time there was a witness. The Khamar-Daban mountain range is breathtaking, wild, remote, and largely untouched. Located near Lake Baikal in Siberia, it's a place of legends, spirits, and secrets the forest might never give up. In August 1993, a group of 7 hikers, 6 teenagers and their experienced leader, set off into these mountains for what should have been a routine trek. Nothing extreme, nothing dangerous. Just a summer hike with backpacks, supplies, and years of outdoor experience behind them. The expedition was led by 41-year-old Lyudmila Korovina, a seasoned hiker and instructor with decades of mountain training. Her group included Tatyana Filipenko, 24, Alexander Krivisin, 23, Denis Shvachkin, 19, Valentina Utoshenko, 17, Victoria Zalesova, 16, Timur Bapanov, just 15. These weren't amateurs. They were handpicked by Korovina. Some were her personal students. They knew what they were doing. They were ready. On the 4th day of the hike, something went horribly wrong. Valentina, the only survivor, later described a sudden, terrifying sequence of events. First, Alexander, walking at the rear of the group, collapsed. His mouth foamed, he coughed blood, his eyes and ears bled, and he convulsed violently before dying. Seconds later, Korovina herself suffered the same fate, shrieking, shaking, collapsing. Tatyana ran to help, but suddenly clutched her throat, gasping for air. Then she sprinted to a nearby rock and smashed her own head against it until she fell. The remaining hikers began to scream, strip off their clothes and run in circles, apparently suffering from hallucinations, terror, and rage. Some tried to flee. Others clawed at their own bodies. One of them, Shvachkin, bit Valentina's hand before dropping dead. In the span of minutes, 6 people were dead, their bodies twisted, faces frozen in agony. Valentina ran into the forest. She hid there all night, too scared to sleep, pulling her sleeping bag over her head and praying it was all a nightmare. At sunrise, she returned and found the bodies exactly where they had fallen. No one had moved, no one had survived. She gathered supplies and began walking. For days, she wandered through the wilderness until she stumbled upon an abandoned village and followed a power line to a river, where a group of Ukrainian kayakers found her, exhausted and in shock. With Valentina's help, a rescue team reached the site. What they found shook even the most hardened rescuers. Scattered bodies, contorted in unnatural poses. Some were face down, others curled into fetal positions. Many showed signs of internal bleeding, severe stress, or trauma. But there were no signs of external violence. No avalanche, no animal attack, no murder. The government's conclusion: hypothermia. They claimed the group froze to death, possibly after losing their way in bad weather. But locals and experts weren't convinced. It was summer, and daytime temperatures were mild. More strangely, autopsies revealed tissue damage, brain swelling, pulmonary edema, and signs of long-term starvation, which didn't make sense for a group that had left just 3 days earlier, fully supplied. So, what happened on that mountain? Some suspect toxic gas exposure, like methane or military chemicals. Others blame hallucinogenic plants, perhaps poisonous mushrooms or contaminated water. A few suggest secret military experiments, long buried in Russia's vast wilderness. And then there are the darker ideas that the hikers encountered something spiritual, paranormal, or worse, something not meant to be seen. The comparisons to the Dyatlov Pass incident are impossible to ignore. A remote Siberian mountain range, sudden, unexplained deaths, a scene of panic, naked bodies, and frozen horror. But in Dyatlov, no one survived. In Khamar-Daban, Valentina did, and her story makes it even more chilling. Over 30 years later, the case remains open, unofficially. Official records are sealed. Families were never given real answers. And Valentina? She now lives quietly in Chelyabinsk, far from the mountains that changed her life forever. She's only spoken publicly once, in a 2018 Russian TV interview. Since then, she's remained silent. Maybe she's still searching for peace, or maybe she knows that some questions are better left unanswered. The case continues to intrigue people to this day. Many are still searching for answers. Could it have been the breakfast they ate that morning, possibly poisoned? Or perhaps the water they drank? But if that were the case, why didn't Valentina experience the same symptoms? She consumed the same food and water. Another theory suggests that the storm damaged their tent, soaking their clothes. Hiking in wet clothing in the freezing cold could have led to hypothermia. Combined with the fact that they were more than 6,500 feet above sea level and, according to experts, were moving too fast, it's possible they developed altitude-induced pulmonary or cerebral edema. This theory is supported by the blood they coughed up, a known symptom of such conditions. And yet, one mystery remains. Why did they all collapse so suddenly, one after the other? It could be that one of them showed symptoms and stopped to rest, which, under those conditions, only worsens the effects. When the others stopped too, they may have all succumbed in quick succession, leading to unconsciousness. However, there's another chilling detail. The sole survivor reported that blood started flowing from their eyes and ears, a symptom not associated with altitude sickness. This points to something far more sinister, like poisoning, possibly a nerve agent. Interestingly, if you dig deeper, you'll find that in 1993, the Russians officially ceased development of a nerve agent called Novichok, a chemical weapon many scientists acknowledge exists, though Russia denies and keeps secret. Some reports suggest that its effects were tested in that exact region. Even more strange, locals at the time reported bizarre behavior in the local wildlife. And after Valentina told the authorities what she had seen, the official search team didn't depart until 15 days later. 15 days. Curious timing, especially when you consider that Novichok has a known decomposition period of exactly 14 days. Coincidence? Or something darker? So, what really happened in the Khamar-Daban mountains that summer? Poison? Madness? Or something darker? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to follow for more chilling mysteries.